往年啊，波音和空客这个订单呢都差不多，波音是多少，空客是多少。这次啊，就今年啊，差了1000多架。那么现在还有一个竞争对手要上来，西方国家都提到了，就是中国的 C919可能要进场竞争。大家好，欢迎大家来看王晓东的视频。这个波音呢为了省钱那个飞机不好好造737 MAX 本来它应该重新设计整个的飞机，它为了省钱它不好好设计，弄了那个大发动机装不下，把底下给拍扁了椭圆的，然后还往前移了还翘起来了干扰了整个的这个空气动力学性能净出事儿了看着省钱了，这个其实费大钱了。为什么呢？就是刚刚传出来这个消息对于波音呢是极其不利的。什么极其不利的消息往年波音和空客这个订单呢都差不多波音是多少，空客是多少这次就今年差了1000多架，这不得了差1000多架飞机就是说空客比波音这订单多了1000多架。这波音是真是这个黄是不至于但是真是吃瘪了作瘪子了。美国那航空公司德尔塔航空公司向着波音呢，还得向着自己国家的飞机制造公司下了大单，但是咱们中国给空客下单更大反正也不光中国一家，就这个现在是波音是做了瘪子了。
Boeing and Airbus, the world's two biggest plane manufacturers, neck and neck for years, America versus Europe. This year, things are a little different. See, while both companies have suffered from cancelled orders and supply chain woes caused in part by the COVID pandemic, Boeing has also had to deal with this.
An Indonesia passenger plane crashing into the sea.
The new Boeing 737 crashing.
The U.S. is grounding all Boeing 737 MAX planes.
The turmoil has left Boeing in a position of weakness, one that Airbus has been trying to capitalise on. And that's got people asking, what can Boeing do to catch up? Well, let's find out. So I'm at Farnborough Air Show, and I first started coming here over a decade ago. And every single year, the race between these two manufacturing giants has dominated the skies and the headlines. The one question that everyone normally asks is who secured more orders and nudged ahead of the other? But this year, Boeing has a bigger challenge ahead. And if there's one person who knows about the scale of that challenge, it's our Boeing reporter, Andrew Tangle.
Boeing came into this year's Farnborough nearly 2,000 narrow-body jet orders behind Airbus. They are fairly far behind, at least in the narrow-body market.
While orders for the MAX have been picking up since it won regulatory approval in most countries, in China, a country that Boeing chief executives call crucial, recovery has been slow as the plane was only recertified in December and is yet to return to the skies. On top of the hurdles with the 737 MAX, Boeing has also been plagued with production issues and hasn't been able to deliver its wide-body plane, the 787 Dreamliner. And that has left the door open for Airbus.
So really what we're seeing is this dynamic where Airbus is coming to the show on a much stronger ground, on a much stronger footing than they really have been, at least since I've been covering the industry, but for much longer as well.
That's Ben Katz, WSJ's Airbus reporter, and he told me that when the pandemic struck, Airbus cut its production rates from 60 A320 jets a month to just 40. However,
Airbus is now saying, by 2025, we want to get to a rate of 75 a month. That is higher than we were before the pandemic, higher than those ambitions that they had.
Their strategy appears to be paying off, as Airbus recently won an enormous order of nearly 300 A320s from Chinese carriers. Even without that, they're leading Boeing on orders for narrow-body aircraft, 59% to 41%, according to data from Ascend. But Airbus still has issues of its own.
Airbus at running at rate 75, it's just really, really ambitious, and it allows them to sell a lot more aircraft. even a few months ago, speaking to Airbus's, head of sales, he was complaining, we just can't make these aircraft fast enough.
So is there a way back for Boeing? Well, for starters, the company is hopeful that it will finally get regulatory approval for the new variants of its 737 MAX planes. And sales of the 787 Dreamliner are set to pick up once the company can start delivering them again.
Stan Deal, the commercial chief at Boeing, suggested that once the Dreamliner is able to be delivered again after a drought of nearly 2 years, that more orders for those planes will follow too.
But as Boeing is still hundreds of orders behind and is still operating in a world of supply chain snarls, it's anybody's guess how long it could take for balance to be restored to the duopoly.
Boeing's got time to catch up beyond just the air show. Customers want to see Boeing execute. That means planes without production issues, delivered on time, reliably, and so forth.
Whatever happens, one plane manufacturer that we'll be watching closely is Chinese state-owned Comac, who is about to release a narrow-body plane of its own. The company may not have much of an impact on the duopoly in the short term, but the potential for a heavily subsidized Chinese plane manufacturer to disrupt these two industry giants in the decades to come is very real.
那么现在还有一个竞争对手要上来啊，西方国家都提到了，就是中国的 C919 可能要进场竞争，但是中国这个 C919 进场竞争啊，它有一个前提，就是中国啊还在西方的这个市场经济的大圈子当中没被踢出来啊，西方国家没把咱们踢出来，咱们当然更不能主动退出，因为这个 C919 啊，它里边有太多的部件，最重要的部件都是从西方进口的，这咱们得承认这么一事实啊！咱们要真被西方国家从那圈子踢出来，咱们的 C919也就说白了吧，就没有了。那么如果说大家都是按照市场经济的规则玩，那咱们这 C919啊就能进场跟他们竞争一下啊，看看呗，谁行谁不行啊，根据市场规律淘汰啊，谁行就是行，谁不行就是不行，这是最公平的。但是现在呢，咱就不知道这个政治的因素啊会不会影响到这个公平的市场竞争啊？这个视频就到这儿，谢谢大家观看。